Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Darrell Owens, and this is another edition of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on the amazing Bowie Television. This is our final power ranking episode of One on One here during the season, and technically, there's no more power rankings because there is only one left in the power ranking, and that is the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. But with that being said, we've got to get into the recap of that game, give you our king of the gridiron for that game, and just reflect on a great NFL season and a fun NFL season overall. But let's go ahead and get into it. We've got episode 160, ladies and gentlemen, coming your way here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and on Bowie Television. Let's get this party started.
One. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to One-on-One at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
One sixty is here, episode 160 of 101, 40 away from 200. Oh, man. This is our final episode for the power ranking editions of One on One. So it has been a fun NFL season, a very exciting NFL season that finally came to a conclusion on Sunday at the Super Bowl. And it's just a very somber moment because NFL is pretty much over game-wise until August. So we got a while away. You know, I remember last year this time saying, man, 6 months is going to be a long time. That time went by fast. So we'll see how that goes this time around. And there's so many different elements. You know, you've got the combine in a couple of weeks. You also have NFL free agency that's going to get kicked off probably about the middle of March. Then after that, NFL owners meetings, and then you have the NFL draft. And then after the draft, you'll have, training camp, or OTAs, I should say. And then your mandatory camps. And the next thing you know, it's training camp. And then we're right back in the thick of things for the 2025-2026 NFL season. But let's finish talking about this one at hand. And so before we get into the Super Bowl, let's talk about how miserable your boy did when it came to predictions. Your boy did absolutely terrible in this play. This is the worst playoff I've ever had in picking games. I don't know what happened. I couldn't tell you why. Everything I picked was the exact opposite. But, you know, that's usually how things go for me on certain fronts. But this was rough. I haven't won. I won the last playoff game I won was in the divisional round when I picked the Chiefs. Every other team that I picked, or I guess potentially wanted to win, decided, you know what, we don't want to win, and we don't want you to win. I said, good Lord. And we couldn't have it any other way, but it is what it is. But 4-9 to finish it out in this regular or in this postseason, 0-2 in the championship game, 0-1 in the Super Bowl. So you finish off technically. I went 0-6 in the last 6 games because I did pick the Chiefs to beat the Texans, and that was the only one I got. That's the last one I got right, and I lost all the rest of them. Absolutely disaster for a record. But at least my regular season went well. I had my best regular season to date, so I'll take that. But with that being said, let's get into the Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl was all the Philadelphia Eagles. This game was never close. And if you'd have told me that, you know, at the beginning of the game that this game would never be close, I would probably say, maybe. But it was just the way that the Philadelphia Eagles won this football game. And the style at which they did it was absolutely a monster. So shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles for a big win. Now, I remember talking to my brother before this game, and I told him he's a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. And I remember telling him, I said, he asked me, hey, can the Eagles win this? I said, yes, but they have to blow them out. They cannot let it be a close game, because if it's a close game, Kansas City will win this game. That's just how they roll. That's how they rolled all season. The tight games, they just find a way to win no matter what. So I knew if Philadelphia wanted to win this game, they had to punch the Chiefs in the mouth. And that's what they did. They punched them directly in the mouth, and it was an absolute disaster for the Kansas City Chiefs. But this is what we saw. We saw a game where the Eagles, in the first quarter, getting their first touchdown. There was a great pass from Hurts to Dotson that kind of set them up for the tush push, seeing Jalen Hurts get in there and get that first touchdown of the game. And then in the second quarter, we saw Jake Elliott get in there. He kicked the field goal, which I shout out to Jake Elliott, because Jake Elliott had a really good game. He went, I believe, 4 for 4 kicking field goals. So he produced 12 of these points for this team, which, you take those away, this is a closer game. But anywho, Jake Elliott had a great day. 48-yard field goal, a 29-yard field goal, two 48-yard field goals, a 29-yard field goal, and a 50-yard field goal. And so he was just cooking. So shout out to Jake Elliott, who had a rough season, because a lot of people looked at Jake Elliott and, there was some people calling for, his job. And, he did have some struggles throughout the season, but he came through when they needed him the most in the Super Bowl, looked unfazed. But it was a very heavy Eagle crowd there as well. If you listen to the game, it was a very heavy Eagle crowd in the building. So it was almost like an away game for the Chiefs to an extent, if you really listen to how the crowd sounded. Anyway, so then 10-0 lead for Philly. Things are looking on the up and up. About a minute later, after that Elliott field goal, we see Cooper DeJean get a big pick six, a 38-yard interception, which he took into the end zone to give the Eagles a 17-0 lead. But a birthday pick for Cooper DeJean. And so, or DeJean, for the, I know I'm probably destroying it. Some people are like, it's DeJean, Darrell, whatever. Cooper DeJean, Coop. So Coop gets in the end zone, scores a touchdown, and gets, a chance to have a big moment on his birthday. Him and Saquon Barkley both share the same birthday on this Super Bowl on February 9th. So shout out to them. Happy birthday to both. And I know they had a happy birthday. But DeJean gets that touchdown, and they're up 17-0. Well, about 6 minutes later, Eagles are driving. Another great, a couple of great defensive stops along the way for the Eagles. And then right before the half, you see Jalen Hurts hit A.J. Brown for a 12-yard touchdown pass to make this a 24-0 game heading into the half. And hope looked like it was all gone. But by this time, any real football fan, you're probably saying this game's over. Now, but you also got to remember the Kansas City Chiefs are still the Kansas City Chiefs, so you can't look past them. But it didn't end. You see the 29-yard field goal midway through the third, kind of cranks it up to 27-0. It started to get a little dreary for the Chiefs. They knew things were getting out of hand. And then Jalen Hurts with a dime to Devontae Smith, the former Heisman Trophy winner, 46-yard pass from Hurts for the touchdown to make it 34-0. And right before the end of the third, the Chiefs finally get on the board. Xavier Worthy, the first-round pick for the Chiefs, gets a touchdown on a 24-yard pass to Patrick Mahomes. They failed the two-point conversion. That just didn't go their way. And then the fourth quarter starts. And it's a Chiefs with the minimum hope that they have. Didn't last long, because a 10-play, 40-yard drive would set Jake Elliott up for a 48-yard field goal. And then after some more struggles on offense for the Chiefs, we saw Jake Elliott kick a 50-yard field goal to make it 40-6. Just an onslaught. The Chiefs did end up scoring the last two touchdowns. Shout out to DeAndre Hopkins getting his first touchdown in the Super Bowl, but just him having an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl after many great years as a wide receiver in this league with the Texans, and of course with the Cardinals and the Titans. So him having his opportunity just to be in the game is nice. I know he won't say that now because he really wanted that ring. And then Xavier Worthy, he connected on a 50-yard pass from Mahomes, but by that time it was too little too late, and the Philadelphia Eagles had won this Super Bowl 40-22. So it was one of those things where we saw a Philly team really go in there and they just left jab, right jab, and they beat up on Patrick Mahomes and the crew. It was never really close. And that's the part that I think a lot of fans, it's a boring Super Bowl. Yes, you want to see an exciting game, but if you go back and look, we've been kind of spoiled the last couple of years in Super Bowls. Like, the games have been really good games, minus the last two that the Chiefs lost. We saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers smack them around a couple of years ago, and then, of course, this game. So it was just like the two Kansas City losses were blowouts, and all the other games were tight contests. That's just how Kansas City, they roll. If it's tight, they're going to find a way to win the game. And so it was really, really cool to see. I know there's a lot of Eagles fans that wanted this get ring number 2 and to be able to do that within 8-year span, because I think they won the last one in 17. So you get your second one, and, you can put a lot of people, a little, shut them up a little bit. I will say I don't like the fact that the city of Philadelphia decided to go destroy their city after winning the Super Bowl. They're knocking down traffic lights. It was out of control stuff. But, hey, teams do this, or fan bases do this from time to time when Super Bowls are won. Some cities don't, but some cities do. And Philadelphia was definitely one of those cities that did went out there and said, we're just going to destroy this city. Even after the mayor said, please don't destroy our city. We need this. And they said, bet, we in there. So they went out there, did what they had to do, destroyed the city. I saw some people getting beat up. It was a lot going on. So with that being said, you see an Eagles team that gets some redemption after that 38 to 35 loss to Kansas City in that first Super Bowl a couple years ago in Phoenix. And there was something about that game where it's like Philly, this could have been Philly's third Super Bowl in the last 8 years if they could have pulled that one off. But it was just, you could see the excitement of Philly fans knowing that they got their revenge. And a lot of people just didn't want the Chiefs to get the three-peat. That was the talk leading into this, the three-peat. Everybody was tired of hearing about the three-peat. It was either that or you hear people talking bad, the Chiefs and the refs. It was a whole bunch of stuff. But the Philadelphia Eagles did what they had to do. They went in there. They got this win. They were dominant in this win. And you can't go without saying how great the Philadelphia defense was in this contest. Philadelphia's defense was amazing. They did some really good stuff. Josh Sweat, who is a free agent or is going to be a free agent coming into this, his day was just phenomenal. 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 6 tackles altogether. He had a great day. Zach Braun, who was a special teams guy on the Saints last year, comes in, has a great year for the Eagles. He had 7 tackles, and he had a interception in the process. And it was one of those crucial plays that helped Philly, put themselves in the position that they were in. And it was just all the way around. They just really got after Patrick Mahomes. 6 sacks altogether. Milton Williams had 2 sacks. Jalax, I think it's Jalen. I don't know how it is. Jalax Hunt, he had a sack in there. I could be saying that wrong. Half a sack in there. Jordan Davis had a sack. They just were dominant. And then, with Braun and Cooper DeJean getting those interceptions, it was just a great all-out effort by the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Philly did what they needed to do. And so in that process, a certain player who probably could have won the MVP the last time ended up winning the MVP this time. So let's go ahead and get into our kings of the gridiron, which in this case would be our king of the gridiron. I will say that if I would have done kings, I would have definitely given the defensive king of the gridiron to Mr. Josh Sweat on his performance. Like I said, his bar is rising as free agency right at around the right time with free agency. So I expect him to get paid either by the Eagles or some other team's going to hook him up. So let's go ahead and give you that king of the gridiron. So here we are, kings of the gridiron.
Bring all the balls you can bring. It ain't gonna cost you a thing. You ain't bring the sauce to the ring. You
Welcome, everyone, to Kings of the Gridiron. This is the Super Bowl 59 edition. And what a game by the Philadelphia Eagles as they win their second Super Bowl. But this week, we only have one king to talk about, and that is the Super Bowl 59 MVP, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal day in New Orleans. He went 17 for 22, 221 yards with 2 passing touchdowns. Not to forget that he was killing it from the ground as well with 11 attempts and 72 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown to include. So 3 total touchdowns for Jalen Hurts in this Super Bowl performance. There's a lot of people that say in his first Super Bowl 2 years ago against the Chiefs that he probably should have been the MVP then based off of the amazing performance he had. Now, we all know that they're not going to give the Super Bowl MVP in most cases to the losing team, but he was able to come back this time around and show who he is, the person that he is, and the player that he is. And it was an amazing performance for himself and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles defense did a phenomenal job of shutting down Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts and his crew did the rest. Jalen Hurts is the Super Bowl 59 MVP, and he is the one-on-one king of the gridiron for Super Bowl 59. So shout out to Jalen Hurts on another phenomenal performance, and congratulations, you, sir, are the Super Bowl MVP and the king of the gridiron.
My actions go off of your energy. You don't want to go in that ring with me. I hit you so hard, think it's 10 to me. Practice the ball that you bring.
All right. There it is, your Super Bowl MVP and king of the gridiron, Mr. Jalen Hurts. 17 for 22, 221 yards passing, 72 yards rushing on 11 attempts, 3 total touchdowns. That was 2 passing touchdowns, and then that tush push at the beginning to get that rushing touchdown and that 40-22 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, what a lot of people said about Jalen Hurts, that he was a quarterback that he wasn't doing enough for Philly, and that people thought, he's not what Philly needs. But here's the deal. Philly knew what they had in their quarterback, and their quarterback also knew what he had and what he needed to do. Now, he showed up in both Super Bowl appearances that he's been in so far, and I think a lot of people don't realize what Jalen Hurts' mindset was coming into this game. He didn't care about the numbers. He cared about doing whatever it takes to get a win for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's what he did. He went in there, got the win, and that's just sometimes that's the mentality you got to have. Maybe you're not the main player, but you got to find a way to get the win for your team, and that's what Jalen Hurts did. So shout out to Jalen Hurts, the Super Bowl 59 MVP and king of the gridiron here on One on One. Well, everybody, that's it. That's pretty much it for this episode. Like I said, they get shorter and shorter as we get into that part of the NFL season, but I do want to say thank you all for those who've tuned in for the 4th year of doing the power rankings, and our 5th season pretty much is on its end with here. So we'll start season 6 technically in June. So, our interview portion will return in June, and I will still do some shows in between then, which will, be a continuation of season 5, but it won't be on the weekly basis, but we will still bring you some shows just to talk about, free agency and some other things that are going on in the sports world, not just football. So we'll throw some other things in there as well. But I want to just say that it has been a fun season. I want to give a serious shout out to Bowie Television for the opportunities that it has given myself and the opportunities that they have been able, to make some dreams come true. This station is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I really appreciate all those who are a part of this station and all of my fellow producers here on the station. So it is just an absolute honor to be a part of the Bowie TV family. And now next season, we'll see how things go next season. Very excited what the next season of 101 will entail. And I'm just proud of the product that, been able to put forth. So like I said, the biggest thing for me is I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that it has been something for you that you like, or that you at least pay somewhat attention to. And, I'm just excited to see what, this NFL offseason is going to bring us, what things that we'll get a chance to kind of see, and what moves are going to be made, and how good will the Commanders be next year? What are the Ravens are going to do? So those are two things that I'm very intrigued about as we head into the NFL offseason. So I hope you all enjoy that. They still got some spring football coming up. The UFL is coming back out. So the DC Defenders will be in the mix, all that fun stuff, and see how another season of that will go. But yeah, there's just so many elements, NBA champions, all that stuff. But we're going to still come in here, a few times a month and just give you some updates in sports and all that fun stuff. So once again, everybody, thank you all for another successful NFL portion, a full NFL portion of the Power Rankings here for the fourth time. I'm your man, Darrell Owens, and thank you all to all the listeners out there. Like I said, we'll probably be back in a couple of weeks to talk some different sports, but until then, I'll see you all later. Thank you all for being a part of 101, and this is episode 160 of 101. Until next time.
One. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof.